Peoples of the universe, please attend carefully. The message that follows is vital to the future of you all.
And this one really is. This one really is. Hi there, my name is Phil Beckin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I just forgot. My mic settings are a bit bizarre. They keep resetting to bad. So I forgot to check my mic settings before I started. Normally I check them before I start recording. Oh, no, they're actually okay. There you go. Put them up there. Fine. Yeah, so sometimes the good Lord smiles upon thee. Sometimes the good Lord smiles upon you. And I'm not talking about me. Sometimes the good Lord smiles upon you and gives you just a complete gift, a wonderful gift. So this article was sent to me very recently by Crimpling Doubloons. Crimpling Doubloon. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. This is a National Women's Day, and I forgot about this day. I wasn't going to do a video actually. I thought, today's the day. I'm going to take a day off. I got a lot of stuff to catch up on. And then this came through the wire. First I saw the Radio Times article of Thasmin, which is clearly Thasmin. We're going to look at it in a minute. They released a picture of Jodie and Mandit Girl, and they are making Google eyes at each other. There is very little ambiguity going on there. It's freaking crazy. But then this article was sent to me. This article is from a trade paper, the Television Business International. And it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. We're going to read it together. We are going to have a fan-dabby double-dozy time. Let me say hello to everybody who's here. Oh, so the reason I'm not making not doing this as a video as opposed to doing this as a stream is just, oh man, I mean, that's opening up my Adobe Premiere again. It takes forever and edit. I can just do it this way. I'll just do it this way. I already made the thumb. Why not? Why not leave? Fine, let me say hello to the chat. Bluebonnet's here. How are you? Bluebonnet, I have something for. I'm making something really mostly for you. Let me just share this. So hey, let me where is this? Over here. Fine. So this is a new thing I added into my Indiegogo campaign. It was supposed to be a sketch, just like a quick con sketch of Tom Baker by the artist on the Imperium, one of my books on my Indiegogo. Supposed to be, but we have a bit of a communication barrier. He's in the Philippines, doesn't speak a word of English, so he made this whole drawing, right? And he worked up an whole drawing. I paid him for it, obviously, because it's awesome, and I'm gonna do it as a poster. But then I said on my last stream, if we get one more backer, we are gonna do a sister poster. And this is A3, which is I got it written down on the campaign. How big it is? A big poster. We're gonna do a sister poster with Capaldi, right? We're gonna do a Capaldi poster. I just got the first design sketches in. Looks awesome. You are gonna love it. And actually, when I said Capaldi, I said, I bet Bluebonnet's going to love that. That's really what went through my head. So there you go. Just wondering to myself this morning, how is it fair we don't have an international day and men don't get we have an international day and men don't get a day? Wow, that's inequality. Well, they would say to you, Bluebonnet, that every day is Men's Day. Every month is White History Month. Yeah, because they're crazy. They're crazy people. Daniel was here. How are you? So good to see you. And good morning, everyone says Bluebonnet. Disaster areas here. Reminds me, my son just went out. My son this morning, I 4:45 in the morning, I hear him come in and snuff around the kitchen. He's basically in between school right now. So I normally get up around 6. I think there was some big sports thing on last night. He was up all night watching with his friends. Who else is here? PD Rich, how are you? It's lovely to see you. Rebel Comics, how are you? And Frog G, Rebel Comics, I do like your avatar. I was summoned from Twitter. Asked Niobe Comic. Well, listen. If Twitter summons you, you must obey that summons. Fine. Let's buy this article because I really don't want to be doing this all day, but it's incredible. I mean, I am still a little bit breathtaking. I've only skimmed through it. It's a Chrome tab. Oh, listen, here, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Do not forget about my Indiegogo. There it is. Be the 100th backer. Actually, the next backer will be the 100th backer and the person that puts us through on the first stretch goal, right? So it gives us an extra 5 pages in the appearance. So we're one backer away from 100. But yeah, that's not what I wanted to talk about right now. Well, that's not true. I always want to talk about it. Yeah, let me go to the article. Share screen. It's a Chrome tab. It's exclusive. Really? It's only exclusive if anybody else wants to know. What's John Sim and Richie Campbell doing? Grace. I never heard of it. Exclusive. I mean, firstly, let's look at this image, okay? I mean, honestly, again, Jody, darling, what are you going for with that expression? Why is like smug and condescending a good thing for you? Actually, I'm going to grab this image so I can. I'm going to grab this image so somebody can zoom in on her expression because it's truly awful, right? It's truly awful. Here, I'm just opening it up. Go over here. Doink. There. Yeah, I got a better picture of it here, but then we'll go back to the article. Okay, what is this expression on her face? Like, why is smug and condescending and clueless the new sexy, according to Yaz? Like, what? I just don't understand. Is this? I mean, there's basically a heart shape. I mean, they're like 1 minute from each other's tongues going in each other's mouth, and normally that's something that I support, especially on International Women's Day. On International Women's Day, I'm like, I'm all up for that. Here, I don't know, like she's so smug. Oh, how can you be so useless, such an incredible failure, and be so smug? It's unbelievable. But you know what? We live in 2021 where nothing is real. Nothing is real. Everything is funny. Time Prophet, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Let's go back to the story. So fine, here we go. Let's read the article. Exclusive. The women behind Doctor Who on aliens, travel, and equality. So, let's first address equality. There's this idea that women were subjugated throughout antiquity, was just subjugated and pushed down by an evil white male patriarchy. So the thing they need to ignore to believe that, just in the same way, there's things you need to ignore to believe that the American police are death squads targeting black people, right? You need to ignore lots and lots of statistics. One thing you need to ignore to believe that men have always crushed women down throughout time is that also that men were also crushed down. Like in history, everybody had a bad time. Everybody, men, women, everybody, apart from the few kings and lords and things like that, who there's always been a 1%. There's always been a 1%. There always will be a 1%. That's just kind of the way the world works. So anyway, they have this idea because they look at the things that women weren't allowed to do. The disadvantage of being a woman in history. And they say, look at all the disadvantages women had in history. Wow, it's a clear proof we have been forced down. It's horrible. But then again, they don't look at all the disadvantages of being men. Men are the only ones who did dangerous labor. There's a whole philosophy, but it's just so incredibly stupid. Just so to say, speaking of incredibly stupid and indicative on Women's Day, on International Women's Day, Big Finish for the last couple of years have been put out a release called The Women. Was it? I can't remember what it's called. The Women of Doctor Who or Women's Day. Or I can't remember what they called it. No, the 3rd of March. They called it the 8th of March, I guess, or whatever it is. And there's not one this year because my contention is that's the sort of thing that can only really survive in a strong economy. Now, what does that mean by surviving in a strong economy? That means that woke people will want to show their woke to themselves, right? And say, well, I'm going to buy this. I'm absolutely going to buy this Women's Day release just because I'm a right-on person. When the coppers get a bit fewer, which is where we all are right now, and the economy is not doing so well, And then, when the economy is not doing so well, people will be like, well, I would like to show my support to myself, but I really can't. I don't have the money to do it. And thus, there is no International Women's Day release from Big Finish today. And you can guarantee you, if it was a commercial success, there would be, but it wasn't a commercial success. And my fundamental premise with this is the thing that is forbidden to say, like absolutely forbidden to say, that men and women are different. Men and women are different in many ways, pretty much most ways, right? And people stupidly take that to mean men and women, one is superior to the other. No one is superior to the other, for God's sake. No, but they are different, and things that, like, I'll give you an example. Like the way girls play. The way girls play is they project themselves into the character, right? They project themselves, like they imagine themselves to be the princess. This is like just, this is standard toy theory that's been impregnated. So that's why female characters that are aimed at girls tend to be kind of blank canvases. They tend to be like Ray. You don't know anything about it. Like they tend to be kind of blank canvases. However, boys project the character onto themselves. They imagine they are Han Solo, not Han Solo is them. Why? Because men and women are different, right? But they don't want to admit men and women are different, and that's why they said, well, if we made these shows, these legacy shows, if we made them different, if we make them for women as opposed to little boys as opposed to little girls, it's going to be fine. But it's always fails. Like every time, it always fails. Fine, so let's read this article. TBI, that's, I think, is that name of this website? Yeah, Television Business International. Television Business International marks International Women's Day with the first in a series of interviews over the coming days with leading women in the TV industry. Here, Mark Layton talks to Nikki Wilson, Sheena Butt-Tolson, and Sarah Doyle, key production talent from the iconic BBC site. Well, they've got iconic sci-fi series, I think, Doctor Who. So, it's not going well, right? It's not going well. It's an objective, and I would say somewhat objectionable failure, right? It's just fallen off a cliff, and it's done really well. So I would say if it's International Women's Day and you want to look good for international women to look good, don't point to one of their biggest failures in the history of television. That's probably a bad idea. But maybe there weren't any. Maybe they didn't have any men around to tell them what to do. I am, of course, joking. Don't. Nobody set themselves on fire. That was a joke. But I quite liked it. Was it? No show does reinvention quite like Doctor Who. Well, no show's been reinvented quite like the Doctor Who has this time around. Well, no show other than Star Trek and Star Wars, I guess. For almost 60 years, the BBC studio-produced British sci-fi series has followed the adventure of the Doctor, an enigmatic and heroic alien who can travel anywhere in space and time and be betrayed by anyone. You would have thought, right? You would have thought. Turns out that's not the case, right? Could be portrayed by maybe portrayed by somebody with some acting talent. That's just what I would suggest, right? That's my overall suggestion. Have somebody with acting talent portray the Doctor, or even, I don't know, a respect or a like somebody who can find the authenticity within a role. So so it's not just anyone. As we found, like when you cast just anyone, this is what you get: garbage that nobody likes. The show first debuted in BBC One in 1963 and ran for 26 seasons until 1989. Strange they don't mention that the initial producer was a woman. No, because the narrative they want to spin is that it's only now in the enlightened 2021, right? In the enlightened 2021, when that women are finally throwing off their shackles of the evil male patriarchy. This is, of course, nonsense. So this is called also cynically the rest. That you should be cynically happy. Yes, they did poop the bed. That is true. I don't think we can argue with it. They did poop the bed. Jonathan Cox, how are you doing? And you make a very good comment by saying subscribe to Charlotte and Scottish Davros channels. They are both freaking awesome. Actually, they really are actually awesome. I cannot argue with you there. If you use the word, spirit, you get your message deleted. God, that just makes me want to do it, right? That just makes me want to. Here's the trouble, okay, with the living in the age of cancel culture. I like being naughty, and when somebody tells me not to do something, that kind of guarantees I'm going to do it, right? That kind of guarantees that I'm going to struggle not to do it. Okay. One of Backdoor Pilot attempt aired in 1996, and before it was show was brought back in 2005, and it remained on screens ever since with season 13 of the revived era due to air later this year. How's that going? That season? How does season 13, season 12 go? Right? How did that go? Not very well, right? A masterstroke idea introduced early in the show's run, which contributed to the incredible longevity, means the Doctor can be periodically reborn. Okay, really? I mean, how much of a normie are you talking to right now? With a new appearance and a new leading actor in the role to go opposing evil and fighting monsters. The unique story. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there's lots of it. But it was not until 2018 the Doctor was played by a woman, the incumbent Jodie Whittaker, who destroyed the show. Who's saying that has been one of the joys of the past 3? I mean, that has been one of the joys of the last 3 years. Says, seeing the impact of having a female Doctor on the fans. Yes. Why are you taking joy in that? Why are you taking joy in seeing the impact of a female Doctor on the fans? The impact has been, well, there's a couple of things. One, the ratings have fallen off a cliff. So let me be clear. The you Doctor Who could be coming on, right? And if somebody says, shall we go and set our heads on fire, or shall we watch Doctor Who? The ratings say there's about 900,000 people. They'll say, yeah, let's just set our heads on fire instead, right? Let's set our heads on fire rather than watch Doctor Who. So that's been the first impact. The second impact is when she arrived, she brought in a bunch of new fans, and those bunch of new fans aren't very nice. They're not very nice. They're not very good at playing well with others. They came in screaming about toxic fans when they themselves were the toxic fans. The effect on fandom has been disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. So Nikki, have you done any research whatsoever into your idiot statements before you flap your meaningless lips? No, I didn't think you did. On the effect it had on fans, said Nikki Wilson, the show's co-executive producer who tells Television Business International she's loved hearing stories of young girls who would rather do anything than watch Doctor Who in the playground, feeling they can now act as a Doctor, not just the boys. Why do they have this insane fallacy, right? I'm sorry. There have been Doctor Who fans. There have been female Doctor Who fans throughout the history of Doctor Who. Everyone has felt the ability to imagine themselves to be the Doctor, right? Everybody has been. It hasn't been exclusionary in any way. And I'm sorry, if you need to see somebody who's the same shape and color as you to be able to empathize with them, you're a moron, and you're probably a bigot too. Yes. Lord Fanatra, how are you, sir? And Cole, Brocklesby, no research, poor journalist. Well, it's actually no research is on the producer, right? She's the one who's done the journalist did the research. She just listened to the idiot thing that Nikki Wilson had. Although, yeah, the journalist should say, well, if it's going so well, why are so many people, including girls, left the show? Why can't you sell anything with Jodie's face on it? Wilson has served as a series producer for 7 years, following a one-off producing stint on the show in 2009, as well as executive producer on spin-off Sarah Jane Adventures. Really? How could there be a female like okay, one second. I know many boys who watch Sarah Jane Adventures, right? Did they go, "Ew, it's a girl, I can't relate to it"? No, they didn't. Before she was recently promoted to the current role for the upcoming season 30. Okay, listen, in fairness to her, we haven't seen her work yet on the show, but she did say something really stupid right off the bat, so I don't have much hope. The on-screen change of casting of a female Doctor has mirrored a similar push behind the cameras to improve gender balance in a production. Really, it's I understand Chris Chibnall does strike me as being a cockless wonder, right? He does strike me as being somebody with no testosterone whatsoever. He's still a bloke. He's still a white bloke. So there hasn't been that much bloody change. They're talking about, who's it? Gemma Allerton, the one who wrote the Villa of Dildeotti, the really boring story with Mary Shelley. It's a really, if you're going to have Lord Byron and Mary Shelley in the story, maybe you should focus more on them doing coke off each other's, naked asses. You know, that's the sort of thing that's actually a lot more interesting than them doing quadrilles, right? But then again, what am I? I'm just a layman. Which approximately has long been male-dominated. So I want to ask you, how is gender in any way prohibitive to anybody trying to find a job in television production? Now, I don't understand why that would be, and if it is, I think you need to talk to your contemporaries rather than lecturing the rest of us. The show didn't have a brilliant track. It had been very male-dominated. The show didn't have a brilliant track record, and it very much had very much been a focus of us, particularly since Chris Chibnall, the current showrunner, this current white male showrunner, came on board. We've had a huge amount of success with female writers. No, you haven't. You haven't had one good episode in this entire years. In 21 episodes, you haven't had one good episode. I think the closest you came was Revolution of the Dalek, which Jodie couldn't bloody promote because she couldn't forgot the name of it because she's a super Karen, right? That's who she is. She is a super Karen. So you haven't. How do you define success? You hired them. Well, that's success. That's successful for them. It's not particularly successful for the audience, right? With female writers, directors, and editors. What about Rachel Talalay? She was a fantastic Doctor Who director. We haven't seen her behind the camera since you idiots came on board, have we? No. Says Wilson, who has the show continues to approach female talent in all areas and has run diversity training schemes to bring on production, bring the production team as a wider push. Yeah, really. Do you remember that everybody denied this? What, diversity hiring? No, heaven forfend, diversity. You know, if you follow the channel, I recently had a bit of a mini cancellation attempt, right, by this guy who is a very big fan of a massive anti-Semite, right, and this politician called Jeremy Corbyn, and one of the I think one of the absolute tragedies that Jeremy Corbyn did was that he's made everybody supported him when they act irrationally and hatefully towards Jews to think maybe it's because it's a Jew, right? So yeah, it's the same way. Like we all know, everybody knows that this is you've been pushing this behind the camera. Unfortunately, you haven't been keeping the quality up at the same time. You've done more damage to women and to the TV show and world in general, by just going, hey, look, you got a vagina. Not that a vagina makes you female anymore, does it? Look, you got a vagina. You better write some Doctor Who. I adore Sarah Jane Adventures, and I'm a male. Shut up, Nikki Wilson. Shut up, Nikki Wilson. We all agree. Shut up, Nikki Wilson. Estella Dillinger is here. But Katie Lang has far more testosterone than Chris Chibnall. Well, that's a low bar, isn't it? More testosterone than Chris Chibnall. I think, quite a few people have. Revolution of the Air. She is terrible. Sneevil Sykes, how are you? The Sarah Jane Adventures did Chibnall era so much better. Exactly. You know why? Because they were characters, right? And I didn't. It was a bit too young for me. Like my kids were just getting out of Doctor Who as it was they were growing out of it as it was on. So it's a bit young for me. And I didn't really get it. But at least all the characters were characters, right? Super Karen sounds a bit like Super Carrot over my phones. Carrot would probably have done better in the role. Carrot probably would have done better in the role. That is true. Oh, sorry. Snorter Purpose Q-Bar. Snorter Purpose Q-Bar is one of my favorite chats of all time. Everything he does is funny. Google Jew triggers polar bears. It does. It does. Don't let polar bears be triggered. That's what I say. In a new role, Wilson has been able to support new producing talent on the show, including Sheena Buck-Tolson. Oh, there's Sheena Buck-Tolson. I wonder how she jumped to the front of the queue of people to be hired. I wonder what is it, her resume or is it her identity? I think it's probably her identity. It was there's series script editor on Doctor Who for the past 3 years. Well, in that case, really, for the past 3 years, in that case, you've done a very bad job, Sina. You've done a horrible job. What, like, for example, in Rosa, the very special episode, very stunning and brave special episode, Rosa. What was the villain's motivation again? He just didn't like black people. Why? Why exactly? Because honestly, I don't understand. I think you are probably a massive racist, right? I think you probably don't like white people. That's my guess, especially white men. I don't think you like. So can you explain that to me? Because I really just don't get it, right? I do not get it at all. When I started the show in 2018, I heard a lot about women not wanting to write science fiction or action adventure. Okay. So we decided we are going to press gang them into action. We are going to force them to write action, adventure, and science fiction. No, the reason women don't want to write freaking science fiction is because women, generally speaking, don't like freaking science fiction and action adventure. It's so they get mad. These crazy feminists get mad at women, right? At women when they don't go into STEM subjects. They're like, but I don't want to. Well, you need to. You're hurting all women. They're out their minds. They're out their bloody minds. Fine. Yeah, I understand they don't want to write it. The reason that sci-fi and action adventure has always skewed male is because it's something that little boys like. Idiots! Thankfully, it feels like the world has turned since then. Yes, it's turned. And how's that gone? How's that gone? Has the audience gone, oh, wow, this is so much better? No, the audience have gone, I would rather stick a fist up my ass than watch the dreck that you're watching. I mean, honestly, I like Star Trek Discovery. So, like, how is there a massive city inside Discovery, right? Just how? It's all so awful. But I'm sure that thankfully it feels the return. I'm sure having a female doctor has contributed to the achievement in attitude. Wait a minute, I just had a bit of a revelation. I was talking about the difference between how boys go and how boys play and how girls play. Girls project themselves onto the role of the person they want to play at, while boys project the character onto themselves, right? So that, are they saying that most girls couldn't relate to Doctor Who because they want to be able to project themselves onto the Doctor, and they can only do it if they have matching genitalia, right? Is that the only way it could happen? That could, that's actually a reasonable. That's a reasonable way we could have had this difference. We have this sharp difference of opinion, right? Because men are going like, well, what's the problem? Of course you can relate to the character. Why not? Because we basically can. And I can relate. I relate to female characters. I like Sarah Jane. I can relate to characters that that are not my identity, which is quite good because I'm a fat Jewish guy, and there aren't that many, fat Jewish guys on TV. Do you see me laying on the ground and kicking my little my little feeties up? No, I don't. Because I don't need that, but maybe in their rush to say the sexes are identical, they just reiterated the difference once again. Fine. One second, I just saw PD Rich said that was strangely enjoyable. What was strangely enjoyable? I don't know. Apparently so. Even Coca-Cola is telling me to be less white. Well, that is true. I'm sorry. Look, Christopher Solar. By the way, I haven't replied to my comments yet, and I try and do it every day. I'm about 20 behind. I saw that. Yes, I saw your comment. You will actually be refunded for your shipping for your second purchase. Thank you very much. If I can work out a way of sending it to you via PayPal rather than via Indiegogo. That's great, and I am going to write to all the Canadian backers and try and work out how to get you your excess shipping back. I mean, I'm not going to work. I am giving you the shipping back, right? Giving you the excess shipping back. We're going to work it out. I just got to work out the logistics. Here's the trouble with running an Indiegogo. Just as an aside, you basically you're on a press junket. So it's like I'm on like 2 shows. I think I'm on 2 shows tonight. I'm on at like 10 o'clock in the night from my time, and then midnight, and then there's another stream at 4 in the morning that I might get up for. So you're running a press junket, and you're just like, and when actors always talk about being on a press junket, how dizzying it is. But you're also booking your press junket as well. So it's like everyone's going to get the money back. The money back for the excess shipping, because it's. It was just crazy. $40 for international shipping to Canada. So I no problem. I've been in contact with one person, but I haven't even written him back yet. Blimey. Okay, so I started the show in 2018. I'm sure having a female doctor contributed to the advancement in attitude. Again, stop cavelling, stop flicking your little button over your advancement in attitude, and look at the devastation that you've caused. This utter garbage that you put out as a TV show that used to be popular, right? That used to be popular. That categorically is not anymore. It's an embarrassment. I'm sure we can improve. Improve. Are you talking about improve the story quality? Because that's really important. I think you're talking about improving getting rid of men. Okay. Now moving into producer role, I'm keen to bring more women and more overall diversity into onto the floor as well. How about being more committed to bringing excellence to the screen, right? Not bringing identity of the people making, actually having what you make be good. Now, all you have to do that is think it through, right? It's not hard. You just have to think through, like how many billion plot holes do you have? You had Jodie Whittaker give the Siberian to the Lone Side Man. Well, the Lone Side Man looked pretty good. I like that thing. But then they said, we won't work out a backstory for it, and it'll look stupid. And who cares anyway? It's think it through. Do good work. Yeah. Most people here were completely on board for a female doctor, right? Most people on board were. Sadly, they just did bad work. That's really the bottom line. But Tulsi is keeping her lips tightly sealed sealed about her producing debut, revealing that it's going to be a blast. Perhaps unsurprisingly, as Doctor Who is a show notorious for keeping the lid on plot spoilers. It's really not. It's only till Chris General came along and is like, he treats marketing and promoting his show like kryptonite. She does, however, reveal her initial debut on the show has a special place in her heart, as she came on board at the same time that its current star, serving as script editor for Jodie Whittaker's first full episode. Yeah, listen, that episode wasn't a good episode. It wasn't a good episode. And maybe you should have watched, I don't know, a few episodes of Doctor Who first. Maybe any of you should have watched a few episodes of Doctor Who first to have a rough idea what you were shooting for. But what you were shooting for is there being identity politics, being Doctor Who being a platform rather than being an entertainment. Jodie's debut ever was particularly important to me. Me too. I'm ashamed you screwed it up. Although at the time of watching it, it didn't seem that bad. It's only in hindsight when you realize how vacuous and empty it is. You realize how terrible it is. It was my first episode of the show, and introducing the Doctor Who feel the pressure to get that right. You didn't. It was an awesome script. It wasn't. I mean, listen, your enemy was called Tim Shaw. And hardly an alien, an alien nemesis with a face full of teeth. Yeah, it wasn't very good. The 13th Doctor leaped off the page and off a crane into my heart. I tried to like her. I tried, but I'm sorry. By the time he got directed in the UK, I was like, she was so funny and bright, What does that mean? They keep saying she's. They always say these things. She's funny and bright and brilliant. She's not brilliant. She's a moron. She plays her like a moron. Again, why are you so detached from reality? She's not that funny. She's only funny if you think like she's pretending to be silly. But if you think she's actually a moron, which I do, and the reason I think she's a moron is because the way she's been played and written, yeah, which is all your bloody choices. Like it's not funny when you see a stupid person being stupid, right? Bright. What does that mean? She's not that. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know what it means. Right off. Yeah, right from the off. Now, here's the thing. This Doctor has not progressed in any way. A character hasn't grown. There's been no character development at all because there's no character. And so clearly the Doctor, it was far more a case of not getting in the way. Listen, somebody should have got in the way. The crane that Buckland is referring to is a set piece where Jodie Whittaker's first ever sequence that Wilson, who produced the installment, considers one of her greatest achievements. I don't even remember it on the show. If there was a movie, we'll probably have a crane. We'll probably just put the crane in the studio with a green screen, but it was such a long sequence that we had that there was no way we were going to be able to afford to do all that visual effects. Explains Wilson. So it basically involved a crane company from Cherbourg being on top of half the crane to bring the top half of the crane down to Cardiff and find wherever that had enough hard standing in order to be able to erect the. Okay, they put a crane up. That's I can fucking do that. You look at the yellow pages, you call for a crane. All it takes is mud. I built my house. I had cranes. Yet no, putting a crane up isn't hard. You pay somebody to do it. It's not that she's making it out like she build it out of matchsticks. No, you just paid somebody to put their crane up, which is their job. By the way, your job is producing Doctor Who. You suck at it. Wilson reveals that that sequence of Double Crane took 4 nights to film and and we also killed off the only character that anybody was vaguely interested in. As luck would have it, it was our first 4 nights of the schedule that Jodie had ever filmed with us. We put her up in the crane in the dark. Talk about baptism of fire. Yes, you were paid to do a job and you did it. Well, again, you shouldn't be people shouldn't be sitting around giving you rounds of applause. I was really proud of that sequence. It wasn't that great. It was a really big set piece. It really wasn't. And for us to achieve that within our budget was very, very special. Listen. Unfortunately, Chris Chibnall rebooted Doctor Who completely from the back end. I would say, like he threw everything out and everybody out that made Doctor Who in the past, and he started it from scratch. So it's great that you worked out how to do it on your budget. If you talk to the people who worked on Doctor Who before, they would have showed you how to do quite a bit more. Raising the VFX bar. Now, has the effects been better? No, not really. Although I say the design has been good on a number of things. I like the Dalek ship on Revolution of the Daleks, the interior of the Dalek ship. I quite liked actually the dildo Daleks. Now I think about it. I mean, if you're doing them as dildo Daleks, they look pretty good, and I like the Cybermen. I am on my 5th Doctor notes, Sarah's Dole, the longest-standing crew member on Doctor Who. Dole started as an assistant editor back in 2005 when the show was relaunched by Russell T Davies. It's a sin. Before working her way up, serving as VFX editor and post-production supervisor in Stephen Moffat's Sherlock, Stephen Moffat's tenure, and now as post-production producer in the Whittaker era under Chris Chibnall. Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah, that you saw the show disintegrate before your eyes. Dole describes Whittaker's role as the first female Doctor as an inspiration. Again, it would be if you hadn't failed so utterly, completely. It'll be really inspirational if you hadn't have completely imploded. But you did, that you did that. That podcast with David Tennant after you had the first episode go out and said, I just want to make sure I don't break it. You broke it, darling. It's broken. That's exactly what you did. Post-production teams worked in, did I skip along? On shows like Doctor Who, an inspiration not only to her, but to all the women in front and behind the screen. And how is she an inspiration? How is seeing somebody being an utter failure in any way, shape, or form an inspiration? Explain it to me. What is that inspiring to you? Is it inspiring to say this person has failed more completely than I've ever seen anybody fail before, other than Chris Chibnall, and they still have a job. That's pretty inspirational. I wish I was making your money on your level of failure. That is indeed inspiration. Being a Doctor Who fan myself, liar! There is no way you're a Doctor Who fan and you like this era. I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe there are a bunch of new fans who came in who love her identity over everything else. But I do not believe that. I think at best, normal Doctor Who fans are like, it's not bad. I'll put up with it until a new one comes along. Really, and again, I think most of them were like, we want to like it, but season 12 pretty much killed that. Being a fan myself, it's great that we finally broke the stereotype of the iconic role. No, you didn't break the stereotype. You broke the role. And again, I was somebody who was on board for there being a female Doctor. That is how much you failed, right? That is a real deep level of failure. On a show with Doctor Who where the characters travel to the distant parts of far future and exotic alien worlds, visual effects can be crucial. Visual effects are crucial. That is true. And Dole says that the team are always striving to do better VFX each season. Well, that's fair. Okay, fine. I will not rank them for the special effects. Right, my camera's looking a bit. Let me see if I can clean that up a bit. Is that going to make it work better or worse? Okay, let's see. I think that made it better. I think. Who knows? Post-production team works in various locations across the UK and internationally, so it's a big job to bring all the blah 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 blah. I love the challenge, blah blah blah. Excitement the show, blah blah blah. Fine. I love being part of the storytelling process. Why? Of these stories, they're awful. As a VHX editor, I mean, I guess if you're working on it, like, you know, you're in the weeds and you're working on it, you don't notice how bad it is. Maybe I don't believe that. You got to notice how bad it is. I sometimes ask to create the temporary visuals for VFX that help visualize the story process during the edit, as dolls. So the animatics. For instance, I created a temporary Space Titanic 2D for the 2007 Christmas special, Voyage of the Damned, to help bring the VHX story to life. You see, I don't think the special effects are any better than they were by then, by Voyage of the Damned. Doesn't seem that way to me. Dole reveals that she spent some time in front of the camera, in a manner of speaking, working so close to the sound team. I've also had a unique opportunity to voice the various talking ship's computers in the past. For example, when Christian started, he asked me to voice the ship's computer in the Sonanga Conundrum. God, I hated that show. I love playing that scene for my kids. I'm sure you do. And listen, I got myself a lovely new puppy called Daisy. I love Daisy. Daisy is the greatest ever, right? I wouldn't make Daisy the star of Doctor Who if I happened to be working on it, right? It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about you providing a service for the audience, and you're not providing a service for the audience. That's why the audience has left. Because again, it's a preachy, boring show. Nobody should be high-fiving themselves. Getting out of the quarry. So, I think Doctor Who actually did better when it went, even the David Tennant years, when it started to go back to a quarry. I think it was it was the Impossible Planet. Is that what it's called? The first one with the U. The Impossible Planet was the first time they went back to a quarry. They didn't want to, and after that, they just kept going to quarries all the time. And you know what? It just kind of worked. I like quarries. Dawn made me be even busier this year. You see, due to the pandemic, not only has the season 30 been cut down to just 8 episodes, but as opposed to the usual 10, actually 11. The last one was 10, I guess. But international shooting has also been curtailed for the obvious reason, meaning VFX are set to be of heightened importance in the upcoming season. Not that I like Disney in any way, shape, or form, right? Not that I got any love for Disney. I really found it fascinating how they filmed The Mandalorian. On that, like, if you got Disney Plus, cancel Disney Plus. Watch the Mandalorian making of show. It's is it they made this like 360 set with with a CGI projected background that moves in conjunction with the actors. It's really clever. I mean, that seems to be the way forward, right? This is the way. This seems to be the way forward. Well, I'm saying, I just turned my camera off, so I'm taking a snort of this stuff, Afrin. I'm a little bit bunged up. She cried. But I can't do it on camera because it will certainly be taken and used, used to my my detriment. Oh wait, says Kristen Benner. Jodie did research. She watched one of 10 episodes. She didn't even do that. She didn't even do that. I think she just kind of glanced over it, right? She kind of knew it in the background. I think that's literally all the research she did. And boy, does it show. Does it show? Where are we up to? Wilson explains that when Chibnall took over in 2018, it was really keen to make the show feel a bit more global. Well, what a shock. The story is taking place in the tackling racial segregation in 1950s. I don't think they want to make the show feel more global. I think they want to make the show feel more political. The partition of India in 1947. Oh, right. An excursion to contemporary Norway for the Bad Dad episode. Right. Okay. Thank you. Inevitably, with the challenges of the budget and location, often the show reverts to the quite UK-based, feeling quite UK-based. Yes, and that's one of the charms of Doctor Who. Again, one of the many things that Christian doesn't understand about Doctor Who. So one of the things Christian really wanted to push was he make it very clear when he came in. He wanted he wanted enough budget to allow us to do more foreign shooting. But Wilson explained, not so much this year, unfortunately. I think we'll end up needing to lean more on VFX for us, visual effects for our scale instead of shooting foreign shooting. Yeah, it was always very indicative. And the trailer at the end of episode 1 of The Woman Who Fell to Earth, when they said, we have this coming up. We have all this great stuff coming up. And it wasn't any great stuff. They just had big guest star after big guest star after big guest star, right? And that was it. They did, they had Alan Cummings, but there was nothing that really excited. Other than you had these big guest stars, which makes you feel good, but not the audience. They don't really care. The push in a couple of years has been for more international filming. Has certainly had its advantages, reveals Wilson, who only half jokes. Having been located in Cardiff for 60 years, we have shot every possible quarry and location. Because it becomes, oh my God, how much longer this nonsense is there? I think, we're near the end. We can make it, people. We can make it. It's become a real challenge to find locations that we haven't shot before. Yeah, again, listen, we in the Russell Davies years, in the Moffat years, we saw the same locations over and over again. We saw that, the Jackie and Jackie's mansion in the parallel dimension many times over, right? We saw the storm cages were exactly the same place they shot the Van Hutten's underground bunker, and they also had the corridor for what's it called again? Waters of Mars. Yeah, it didn't matter. If you have a good script, if you have good stories, if you have something that's engaging, it doesn't matter. But as you don't, it does matter, right? So it comes to before we shot. It comes to challenge to find location we haven't shot before. The last couple of years have allowed us 4 or 5 weeks in our schedule where we can really think big and get some variety there. So that's why they cut the episode count down. They're just wasting their money on stupid stuff. What a shock! Despite its well-established global plea, the show's much loved idiosyncrasies, the format adaptation, Doctor Who doesn't seem. The format adaptations of Doctor Who don't seem likely anytime soon. What the hell are they talking about? Let's read that again. Despite its well-established global appeal, the show's much-loved idiosyncrasies mean that format adaptations of Doctor Who don't seem likely anytime soon. I still have no clue what they're trying to say. I've not been aware of any conversation about an overseas adaptation. Oh, God. Because I have to tell you, the Britishness of Doctor Who is, I think, a lot of the appeal of it, right? I think it's a lot of the appeal of it. And I think, listen, I would love to see an overseas adaptation just so because he's like not Jodie Whittaker, right? I think it'd be fantastic. And also, listen, the brand has been just tainted beyond tainted. I think it can come back. I believe anything can come back. I'm an optimist. I just believe it can come back. I'm just not, I don't see why anybody would be rushing to make an adaptation. So I'm not aware of conversations for overseas adaptation, says Wilson, of the current era of the show, who suggests instinctively you feel it's so quintessentially British, and because the show sells so well in its British format, it feels like it will be an odd thing. So why they even bring it up? The last attempt to produce Doctor Who outside the UK was 96's special. It was developed co-production BBC Worldwide and blah, 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 blah. Doctor Who's future for now remains on BBC One, with season 13 in production and due to air later this year, where Whittaker's Doctor will return alongside Mandate Girl. Let's have a look at this picture again. Let's have a look at the where is it? I'll show you from this one over here. Let's see a bit of the shipping news. Where is this? Here we go. We should look at the Radio Times article after this. Because I got to hear what they got to say about it. Look at this. Like, what the hell? Like, it's a lesbian drama, right? It seems to be a lesbian drama to me. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. You know, I thought It's a Sin was a good show. I thought Very British Scandal was a good show. But, you know, it's different from Doctor Who. You don't have to make everything Doctor Who. This is just, I mean, Ken, look at the love. Look at the love and devotion between these two, and the smug condescension from Whittaker's Doctor. I wish I knew what she was going for with that expression, right? I wish I knew. I have no clue. I really don't know. There we go. Let's go back to that screen again. It's funny. I'm getting an alert at the same time. I don't know what this is from. Biden creates gender, and it's like ... Let me just read. Biden to order creation of gender policy council. Okay, I'll deal with that later. I'll be on a live stream. Fellow time traveler Yasmin Khan have joined the show the show's joined by a newcomer, John Bishop. Oh, a white man! Oh, I don't like white men. They're icky wicky woos. I know you don't like white men. Never mind. Who will join them together. The show in the latest reinvention. We have a different chemistry at the center of the show. They are bouncing so brilliantly off each other. Listen, the only people who I think are going to be bouncing so brilliantly off each other looks like Jodie and Mandit, right? They look like they're very ready to be bouncing brilliantly off each other. That threesome. Wait. Did I just read that? Okay. Look at the screen. If you're not looking at the screen, I've just highlighted the word. I want to be clear. That's not me inserting myself in that. That'll make it foursome, I guess. That threesome, I think, is really exciting. It allows storytelling to move in different directions. Yeah, the reason they did the Timeless Children was so they could open up the storytelling to move in different directions. The direction they moved in was in a direction of utter garbage. Really? Not a great idea. It allows the story to move in different directions and explore dynamics between different characters. I think it's all working really brilliantly. You do. You think it's working really brilliantly? Well, good for you. Good for you. Aren't you stunning? Aren't you stunning and brave? Yeah, let me tell you, you're wrong. You're not working at all. Fine, let's read the Radio Times article. Oh, man, this is crazy. What does Doctor Who mean for women in 2021? That they are not as likely to watch the show. I think the doors have been flung open to mediocrity. The International Women's Day. Doctor, again, why do they? What barrier do you think there was for women in TV? Right, and I think you can have a good sci-fi action event, a female-led sci-fi action adventure. Moffat left you two templates. You had was it Alicinda? What her name was? Girl from Game of Thrones, Alicinda and Clara Adventures. That could have worked. He could have done the Paternoster Gang, which again another female-led thing. Or you can look at Bernie Summerfield from Big Finish, right? Again, for me, it feels like a very feminine drama, right? Which a very cerebral, feminine sci-fi drama, which I really like. But why can't they just make it like organic? They could have done the Romano. There's so many things they could have done, but because they're dealing with hand-me-downs, which is what essentially it is. Doctor Who is a hand-me-down to women because women can't make their own thing, apparently. It's so demeaning. The doors have not been flung open. The doors have been nailed shut by idiots. This International Women's Day, the Doctor Who's female stars, writers, and behind-the-scenes experts give their thoughts on how the sci-fi series has included and celebrated women. Well, they certainly celebrated women by driving them away from Doctor Who so they don't want to watch it. Doctor Who made waves in 27 by cousin, blah blah blah. Jodie Whittaker, blah blah blah. In fact, from the original producer Variety Lambert all the way through to Whittaker herself, the women of Doctor Who have been a significant presence. Yes, that's what we've been screaming at you. But I guess you didn't get that memo. And this International Women's Day seems to be perfect to just ask a few of them. Okay, let's just get to what they're saying. Yasmin Khan, actor. Now, I think that's a bit of a loose description. Yasmin Khan, actor. Yasmin Khan, lucky plank. I think is what she is. International Women's Day for me is to celebrate a woman's progression politically, socially, and economically, which has been downhill. Yeah, I'm sorry. Your reintroduction of segregationism and sexism and racism is not good. It's not good. It's not helping anyone. It's not fun. It's not funny. It's also a day for us as a whole to recognize the further improvements needed. What further improvements are needed? Explain to me. How are you disadvantaged in any way, in any legal way? Let's say, how are you disadvantaged in any way by your gender? I think men are far more disadvantaged, and we're not bitching about it. All right, so just put it together. Ultimately, it's about a celebration of women. As you know, I believe the apocalypse is coming reasonably soon. Thank God! Thank God the apocalypse is coming so we don't have to hear any more of this nonsense. Doctor Who saw what most people could see in that it wasn't an equal playing field. Why? Well, again, what makes you think that? The Absolutes took a stand in... Okay, citation. How is it not an equal playing field? I don't understand. Explain it to me. I understand you saying it. You think that makes it real. But it doesn't. How does that make it an equal playing field? They actually took a stand in changing the space to one of a much more equal by having Jodie Whittaker as a doctor. No. Again. If it was that, look, UK, I think the Western world is not a racist environment. It's not a racist society, right? And I think if you did have real racism, bigotry in there, it would repel people. Much like your version of Doctor Who repels people because it's replete with racism and sexism. This challenge things that they were given and shown the audience why we didn't continually challenge these structures and roles. Again, are you having Samuel Jackson play the Queen? Right? Is that going to happen? Until that happens, then I think you're just full of crap, really. From the first meeting, I knew significance to this. I don't think I'm going to go through all this. We got Dr. Ruth, who goes on forever. Oh my God. Bob Rimington, escape room designer. Really? You get an escape room designer? That's really not that impressive. Alex Kingston, I quite like. Don't say anything stupid, Alex, please. Rebecca Bauer, production designer for Time Fracture. Yeah, okay. So Ingrid Oliver. Man, this goes on forever. I'm not reading that. Joy Wilkerson. Joy Wilkerson and Vinay Patel, who was very inclusive and loving to Fandom and tell them to F off, remember? Emily Cook. Oh, listen, Emily, I'll listen to you. You did the watch alongs. You get a lot of love from me, but don't rope yourself. Emily, I believe you to actually be a talented and intelligent person. Don't let yourself be roped into this nonsense, right? Fine. I don't think I can do it. But, it is International Women's Day. So I think, we need to salute women everywhere. John Durrell, how you doing? Looks like they're not talking about Billy Piper and Karen. Exactly, Karen Gillan. And second, let's go over here. This should open it up. Doink. Tom Baker. I was just thinking exactly. How does the apocalypse affect the comic delivery? Should be fine. I think I'm reasonably hopeful that the good Lord will keep the postal service running long enough for me to get your comics out. They're all ready to go. By the way, the print files are ready to go. But let's celebrate women. Let's celebrate strong women of many ethnicities. Firstly, of course, we have everybody's favorite beta said, Deanna Troy. I am sensing very strong emotion. So, Captain, so you should be. So I'm going to show you something interesting here. This is it after I did a little bit of post-production work, and this is before. Do you see the difference? Putting that extra bit of a line in it and like changing the tones really makes it work, right? Party like it's 1999, baby. A bit of what's the character's name again? I remembered it the other day. Sandra Baines, right? Judge Anderson, Judge Anderson of the Mega City One judges. Yes, she's doing a fine job. British spies, keeping the British end up. Because we do like spy girls. And of course, my absolute favorite, the icon of feminism, that is Nicola Bryant. We do love Nicola Bryant. And I hope International Women's Day is doing well for you. Go check out my Indiegogo. Go check out my Indiegogo. My name is Sula Beck, and you are Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ring the little bell so you're notified